So I've never brushed this or done any brushing like this before. I always just put the post in the ground. So it shows that you brush it. My theory is anyway, clean it off, because anything that'll brush off that easy will probably fall off when you really need it, when I put linseed oil on it. So it's got a really nice color to it now. I mean, I like cedar, but that's got a good deep burn. I like it. Yeah, I'll be doing a lot more of this. I got a really good burn on this. It seems to do a better job at getting the roughness off. This seems a better job of cleaning it up. Biochar to go in the soil somewhere. Awesome. Looks really good. To me, this looks almost like Missouri native black walnut, which is, I actually like the black walnut lumber. It is really bug resistant too. So I don't know. I'm gonna definitely see how this works. I like it. I think it takes a little bit, but I mean, I think it's well worth the effort. I'd rather have something last the rest of my life where I won't ever have to redo it. Would be nice. So it is definitely worth the effort to go a few extra steps to have something last a lifetime. I remember when they used to build stuff to last for a long time, where you could repair it. Now it's a throwaway society. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt, because that's what the world is, I guess. I'm glad that I decided to do stuff like this and slow down and not work myself to death for stuff that I don't even need. I'd rather try to find as much free stuff and make it work for me than work my butt off and not enjoy what I'm doing. So buy something that may last 10 years if you're lucky. Alright, that's ready. I'm going to have to go get the linseed oil and get it ready. I'm going to go ahead, probably brush it on. I mean, I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll get cleaned up where I ain't making a mess on that. Boil linseed oil. Old lunch meat container to pour it into. And I will be doing more of this. An old towel. Shook it up. I've had this for a long time. I hope it's still decent. It should be. Looks like it. Yeah. Oh, here we go. That's a lot. When I'm done, I can throw my rag down in it if I use it all up, and keep my rag in good shape for next time, which won't be too long. I got several projects I want to work on. And some of that really soaks it up good. Turned out really dark. You put the linseed oil on it, but I wonder how it'll dry. Really lay that stuff on there, and it doesn't take long for it to start drying and absorbing. You know, I could have done a lot thinner coats and come back and done it again. Absorbing quite as quick on the second coat, which is alright, because I'll cover everything I can, get it good and wet again, maybe seal it up somewhere where I didn't have it sealed before. Hands are going to take a lot, because as fast as I put it on, it's just about sucking it up and drying. I definitely want a good coat. I like it to the point where the last coat I put on just stays around for quite a few minutes before it starts disappearing. Rub this in, and just about as fast as I rub it in, it disappears. I'm going to put a good coat on these ends. Every time it absorbs a little, I'll wipe it again. Like I said, I want this to last, so I'm going to spend the extra time to do this, to make sure it's going to be the best I can do with what I have and what I'm willing to use. I would way rather have cedar landscaping timbers made like this than I would that treated stuff. At least the linseed oil comes from a plant and it's natural. Where the chemicals, copper, chromium, or whatever that they use in treated wood nowadays, used to be arsenic. It's not. It just leaches into your soil over time, and I don't care for that. I want to try to be as natural as I can. I mean, I know there's no place on earth that man probably hasn't left a piece of trash or something, but I would like to get to as pristine as possible and regenerate with natural forests, meadows, glades, stuff that's real. You know, still have a garden and stuff, but work with nature. I don't think that there is one set garden thing that works perfect. The straw bales, did them. Worked pretty good for tomatoes. Peppers wasn't bad. Couldn't grow potatoes in it for some reason. They just did not want to grow in the straw bales. I've used the lasagna garden, throw cardboard down, grass, leaves, covered it with some of the topsoil, let it set over winter, planted in it. It does okay. I mean, you've got to be about 3 foot deep when you start it. It takes a lot. And it does okay, but then really quickly, even with the worms breaking all the nutrients and stuff down, it just burns up in a little time. About 2 years is about all you can plant in it. My straw bales are going on 5 years, but you can't even tell that they're hardly straw bale or hay bales there anymore. So they are what they are. I mean, they work. I threw topsoil on them this year to help retain moisture in them, and they seem to be doing pretty good. The dirt that they're setting on is not very good dirt at all. It's pretty much an old road bed and hard pan. So you can imagine what that was like. And I used raised beds. Raised beds work good for some things. Other things you can't keep enough water in them. And I got pretty clayey soil, but it's still, without adding something to it, it's still not enough. What else is there? Straw bale. Rain guttering system. I'm going to give it a try because I want to be able to use a tank to water like my heavy waterers, like my tomatoes. I am not going to use buckets. I'm going to use bags with metal cages. I'll probably be showing you how I build my cages here shortly. I just used old 2x4 fencing, and I had a lot of it, and I bought a roll at one time. Was going to put it around a chicken run, and I haven't used it for that. I use 2x4 fencing and concrete wire for a lot of things. I used to, when I had a lot of cattle panels, when I had goats, I used to put 2x4 fencing on the bottom 2 foot of the cattle panels, and that kept the goats from sticking their head through and getting stuck. And I could run chickens in there with them. So, and the chickens couldn't get out. Now the baby chicks could, but it usually didn't take long for the mother hen to get them back where they belong. And panels are a little expensive, and one of the things I'm going to do, since I've got so much extra lumber around, is I'm going to take my concrete wire and I'm going to build me little panels with thin lumber, and it in between the lumber and screwed together where I can move them fairly easy. Oh, I don't like that. Damn it. Don't want all that dirt on my rag. But that's one of the projects that I'll be working on here shortly, that when I start getting more of this lumber planed down, I'll start doing this to all my lumber and put it to the side. That way I'll know what's ready, and then when I'm ready to build, I can just grab a piece and go. And this will hopefully, I'm really hoping, cut down on rotten wood and replacing things over time. And I think it will. I had trouble with linseed oil before. Okay, I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to find something some lumber to burn up real quick to use this up. I'm going to get me some more lumber situated to build my worm beds and a few other projects I got worked on, and I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. That way I can start getting them soaked. So this will be, the rest of the day will be this here. So as this dries, let this dry, and then hopefully it'll be dry and I can move it somewhere else, or I'll bring other pieces out. But I'm gonna go plain lumber now and start the lumber I need for all these other projects I got going on.